Have you ever been in a debate and suddenly the goalposts just move? You make a perfect point and it just gets waved away with something like, well, they're not a true fan or a true patriot. So today, we're going to break down the logical sleight of hand behind that exact move. It's called the No True Scotsman Fallacy. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be able to spot it from a mile away.
Okay, so it all kicks off with a simple claim like this one. A really broad, sweeping statement about a whole group of people. I mean, on the surface, it sounds like a harmless little cultural fact, right? But here's the thing about absolute claims. They're pretty fragile. All it takes is one single exception to break them. So what happens when reality doesn't quite fit into the neat little box someone just made?
And this is where things get, well, tricky. This is where the logical trap gets set. You're faced with a real person who completely contradicts the rule. So what happens? Does the person who made the claim adjust their thinking? Or does something else, something way more sneaky, happen instead? Let's unpack the story that actually gives this fallacy its name.
All right, so let's take a quick trip to Scotland, in a philosophical sense anyway, to see how a simple argument over breakfast ended up defining a famous logical fallacy.
So picture this guy, totally confident in his claim. Then he's shown undeniable proof, a fellow Scotsman right there happily dumping sugar into his porridge. Now, the logical thing to do would be to say, oh, okay, I guess some Scotsmen do, right? But instead of changing his belief to fit the evidence, he does something much, much cleverer. He just changes the definition of what it even means to be a Scotsman. And there it is. That's the move. That is the heart of the fallacy. See, instead of changing the claim, he just secretly redefines the group. The guy who likes sugar on his porridge, poof, he's just been kicked out of the True Scotsman Club. It's a brilliant way to protect your original statement and make it totally immune to facts.
Now, this isn't really about porridge, of course. It's way bigger than that. This True Scotsman defense is basically a template for a much wider problem, applying this weird informal purity test to any group you can think of.
All right, so here's the official breakdown. It's when you redefine a group right on the spot, just to shield a belief you don't want to let go of. It's a way to avoid that uncomfortable feeling of being wrong. Instead of changing your belief to match reality, you just try to change reality to match your belief. And the real danger here? It makes your original claim impossible to disprove. It's like building a logical fortress around it.
And what's wild is that this fallacy almost always follows this super simple three-step playbook. First, you make a big sweeping statement. Second, someone hits you with a clear counterexample. And third, instead of backing down, you just redefine the group to kick that exception out. Once you see this little three-act play, you'll start noticing it everywhere.
So the core tactic is to just shrink the group until it fits your claim. It's about protecting an idealized version of a group that you identify with. So instead of dealing with the messy reality of what it means to be a fan or a member of a party, you just create this pure, perfect version of the group, a version that might not even exist in the real world.
Okay, so now that we know how it works, let's go looking for it. And you'll be amazed at how often this thing pops up in everyday life. We're talking everything from arguments about pizza toppings to really serious political debates.
You see how this thing just morphs to fit any situation? It's the ultimate tool for policing identity. It's for setting up these invisible, unwritten rules for what it means to belong. It's really just a way of saying, hey, you're not really one of us unless you think, act, and believe exactly like my perfect idea of what us should be.
Now, it's easy to dismiss this as just some harmless little debate trick, a minor slip-up in logic. But, and this is a big but, when this kind of thinking is used to push real people out of real communities, the fallout can be pretty serious. It can be damaging, and it can be incredibly divisive.
This isn't just about winning an argument. This way of thinking actually hurts communities. It shoves people with slightly different ideas to the edges. It shuts down important conversations before they can even start. And it can completely alienate the very people you might need on your side. Basically, it trades healthy, nuanced debate for a rigid, you're either with us or against us purity test.
And I think ultimately, this is the biggest question that this whole fallacy brings up. Who gets to be the gatekeeper? Who gets to decide who's in and who's out? Recognizing the No True Scotsman fallacy isn't just about scoring debate points. It's about fighting for more honest, more open, and more inclusive conversations. So the next time you hear someone say no true anything, you'll know exactly what's going on.